welcome to this beautiful Sunday evening here. It's 11:30 p.m. in Dubai. I hope not too dark. I just recognized that I didn't switch on the light, but it's the first Advent. Yeah, it's almost Christmas, guys. And for a couple of stocks in the stock market, Christmas came quite early, wasn't it? Yeah, what a day last Friday. And we will talk about what could happen on Monday, tomorrow. We are just a couple of hours away. After the stream, I go sleep. And when I wake up, most probably the futures will be already available. This is the first thing I check, always Mondays. I usually cannot wait until the stock market opens on the weekend. You know, I'm a little bit bored because the stock market is such a phenomenal thing that I love to follow and everything what comes with it. So yeah, if you want to guys, there's actually one thing I want to make in my own advertising. So as you know, we having a Discord chat here in the community, and if you want to join, I have a fantastic offer where you can join here. A great discussion about couple of companies. We talk about Tesla, we talk about general stock market, and more people join. We have over hundreds of people that are there and discussing with me. I'm sharing also big trades that I'm taking, sometimes also crazy trades that sometimes work out, sometimes not, but it's always fun to share. So if you want to join, there's the lifetime access to the Discord as well as to my stock online market course to learn something, how I found Tesla and become financial free. So link into the below with thanks 50, you will get 50% off. So check out the link into the description as well as in the comment. Now, with that said, welcome people from Germany, from Czech. We have our member Robert Howard. We have our member Thomas Rittel from Netherlands. We have people from Malta. We have people from Western Australia. Wow. We have people from West Lafayette in Indiana. We have Texas in the house and Malta. So two guys from Malta. Even Malta is quite small. And I want to go to Malta maybe this summer. I haven't decided yet. It's not a bad place to be. So let's see if I can make it. So anyway, so this is what we will talk about today. What's going on into the market? Let's have a look what happened in the financial markets, and it was quite red, guys. Quite red here, as you can see. S&P 500 down 2.3%, Dow 2.5%, Nasdaq 2.2%, Russell was destroyed, the low cap company here, and it looked quite bad, and the people said, oh my god, what will happen with this new variant and so on, with this new version of the C, right? I cannot say it that often because YouTube algorithm don't like that. However, there's also a big guy, and that's why I took it as a thumbnail today. There was Jim Cramer. He actually said, don't buy yet, right? Let's have a look if we find this clip. I think, this must be it. So let's have a look into this clip real quick to see what he's actually saying.
My man Jim Cramer, who not here, but never far from our hearts or our minds. Jim, want to get your thoughts on this market action that's going to begin about 23 minutes from now.
Well, first, David, I mean, you're absolutely right that we have to hope that we have the antivirals, because this is something that is already out of the bag in some places. And I just feel like that, once again, if everyone were to be vaccinated, particularly the immunocompromised, this wouldn't keep occurring. But we obviously are still not doing the job making sure that everybody is vaccinated. So this is just going to be one more, and there'll be another and another. And it's not it has to be eradicated, or at least be controlled, and we're not doing that. So, David, I've got to tell you, when I read that there's one in Belgium and one in Botswana, we're going to wake up next week and find one in this country, and I'm not going to recommend anybody buy anything today until we're sure that isn't going to happen, and I can't be sure that it won't.
Right. Although it's important, Jim, to point out, and we'll hear from Meg Terrell shortly, I mean, there's very little we know at this point. The concerns always are about its ability to evade the current vaccines, or at least in some larger fashion than thankfully has been the case in the past, or that there's an even higher rate of transmissibility with this virus versus the Delta, for example. But we don't have the answers at all.
No, I mean, the one thing I do trust are the scientists. I trust them continually. If Pfizer says they can do something, I'd love to hear from Moderna today, then I'm confident we're going to be able to lead our lives and in a more, certainly not the way we'd love to be, but where we have to be more careful. But I just think that the scientists are the people I trust. And if the scientists tell me that they think they can get something, then I'm going to be with them. But I was reading Dr. Topol this morning, who is Eric Topol, who I think is the best follower on these things. And he's just basically saying, listen, this thing spreads really fast. We don't know a lot about it. We have to kind of hope for the best. And when I read that, I think to myself, well, is that really the clarion call to go out and buy the stock of a mall company? No. I mean, I can understand why Regeneron would go up. Regeneron has something. I can understand why we think that Pfizer should certainly go up. But otherwise, I'm reluctant to say this is the time to go buy a retailer. Or go buy a cruise ship company, because there'll be people who are much more. They would have done better if they held on to them. I mean,
it's kind of incredible.
They just will not take the vaccine. So right now, that would be a great call, because there is demand for oil. There will be travel. I'm trying to distinguish between my being concerned.
So as you can see, Jim Cramer says actually the right thing about, okay, we need to wait until the scientists actually saying what's going on, what we can do with the current tools that we have in the medical space. But you also say, don't buy now, okay? Which is slightly disagree, because, you kind of overreacted, Mr. Market, on Friday, right? I think that we should have like at least a slight recovery, because Friday was a very limited day. It was a very low volume day. This is all something that is very, very advantageous to those very strong movements in either direction on those days. Now, if you are a little bit familiar with the stock market, then if there's like a huge down movement, there's one thing that is jumping up very much, which is the VIX, the volatility index. Okay, as you can see, 50% in one day. That's quite a big jump, and we will talk about statistic in a second. But you can see on a large scale, on the big picture, you see that the biggest increase was actually in March, where we had the peak of the crisis. Then a couple of times also here during the year, beginning of the year here, December, January, February 2021, as well as October 2020. Okay, so and every time it goes up, this means the stock market went down, and other way around. So this is always a great, also great tool to see, okay, are we at the bottom of something? And there was another analyst that I talked about on Friday, so if you want to check out this video, who said like he thinks we could be at the bottom of this. All right, so that's also very important to understand that this could be the bottom yesterday of things after this news. And if you are now going into statistics, this is something that I pulled out here, a graphic by Charlie Bilello from Compound, and he put this together, which is quite interesting. And here you can see it was the fourth biggest movement in the VIX, with 54% in one day, right? There was just 3 times higher movement, and this was beginning of 2021. This was 2007 and 2018. All right, and then you can see on the right side that the number of percentage that the S&P 500 went higher. And just if you zoom out here a little bit before going into single digits, you can see that actually the most of the numbers are green. That means that most of the time the S&P 500 gained, right? I mean, just on the third position, you can see that in the first week after, it gained 2%, then 1.78%, then 11%. And if you going then down, you can see even the averages. So on averages, after this big of spikes, in the first week, we are seeing a 0.67% increase in the S&P 500. In the 1 month period, 0.16%. In the 3 months period, 4.7%. In the 6 months period, almost 11%. So as you can see, usually from statistics, the stock market goes further higher after this huge implications of the VIX. So that's quite interesting. And specifically, what I want to point out also is, as you can see, there's very, very less, let's say, circumstances when the stock market was much more lower after that. And this was position number 10 in the peak of the crisis, let's say, where the stock market then after tanked in March, if you remember. So this is number one. And the second thing that I want to show you guys is actually, if you are looking into the source of the crisis, which is South Africa, right? There's now a very, very first person from the medical association. They say that this, version of C is causing mild disease and no prominent symptoms. Okay, so as you can see, it's apparently not that bad after all. And if you think about it, it's like the prominent version of C in South Africa, so they should have the most data of this variant. Obviously the variant already spread in Europe, and I think that's already in US and so on. I think we cannot stop it at this point, because think about it, like for example, the person that was discovered with that in Belgium on the 4th or 23rd of November, he already flew into Belgium on the 11th. So there was like a 10 days period where he could, spread a little bit. So it's very hard to detain this kind of thing. It seems like it's not that bad as it sounds. So I think we should recover, maybe not tomorrow, maybe the day after, but I think on the longer picture, at least like in a week, talking about in weeks or months, we will look back and say, okay, this is something that we went through already, right? With the Delta version also on. So I think that it's temporary pain. I think maybe on Friday we saw the biggest pain yet. And after that it goes higher, because there's no alternative for now for stocks and equities, okay? And that's why I think this is something that you should consider. I also want to say hello to people from London, Austria, Colorado, Italy, Virginia, Belgium, Texas, Belgium, Berlin, Ohio, our friend and member Tech Freaks from Berlin, Portugal, Nova Scotia, and the UK. Right? Thank you very much for watching. Have a fantastic Sunday. Don't forget the 50% off in the X10 Masterclass. Link is into the description as well in the comments. I will put it right there after we stop the stream. Thank you very much for watching, and have the best Sunday that you ever had. And take care.